In the growing global economy, we find that educating our youth is key to securing their place in the world. But the United States is falling behind in this. As a high school student, secondary education laws affect me directly. But the entire United States should be concerned with the education in our country. Our education system is flawed. While there's a looming problem, there's also a specific step that the federal government can take to improve schools, and that's to repeal the No Child Left Behind Act. Education in the United States is failing, and we see the effects in high schools today. We see it in three specific points: increased dropouts, an achievement gap, and teachers leaving schools. And increased dropouts, approximately 1 in 8 children in the United States never graduate from high school, and that's increasing at a shocking rate, according to the Children's Defense Fund from 2007. One high school student drops out every 9 seconds. So by the end of this 5-minute speech, 2,000 kids will have dropped out of school. This is a large problem for the United States, and it's evident in high schools and in statistics. The achievement gap is also widening. The achievement gap is an educational rift between schools and students of different backgrounds. Adam Gameron, a professor of sociology and educational policy studies at the University of Wisconsin in 2007, stated that inequality is evident not only between districts, but between schools, where students of different social backgrounds attain widely varying outcomes. Achievement differences between students living in poverty and their more privileged peers, often called the poverty gap, have shown little signs of diminishing. This achievement gap, where richer students are smarter and have better scores than the poorer students, is a large problem in the United States today. The increased dropouts and the achievement gap are also accompanied with the losing talented teachers in our education system. Every day, nearly 1,000 teachers leave the field of teaching, according to a report by the Alliance of Educational Excellence from 2010. So this mass exodus of teachers is leaving an even more of a problem that is accompanied with the increased dropouts and achievement gap. Altogether, we know what causes this problem. No Child Left Behind, an act that mandates standardized testing that was passed by George W. Bush, is detrimental to the education system in the United States today. These standardized tests that it mandates for all high school students to pass on to the next grade do not accurately assess knowledge. According to Ronald Corwin, the author of The School Choice Hoax, Funding America's Schools, written in 2007, these standardized tests only tap a small part of the knowledge universe, and they do not accurately assess the ability for a student to apply information. He stated that it's unfortunate that test scores are such a deceptively simple way to assess schools. For while they have their place, tests now seem to be swamping other forms of assessment with some dire consequences. These dire consequences of standardized testing are creating these punitive measures that are harming the students. Lisa Darling Hammond, a professor of education at Stanford University in 2007, stated that the current accountability provisions of the Act, which are focused almost exclusively on school average scores and annual tests, actually create large incentives for schools to keep students out and to hold back or push out students that are not doing well. A number of studies have found that systems that reward or sanction schools based on average student test scores, like No Child Left Behind does, creates incentives for pushing low scores into special education so their scores won't count in school reports. And there also reports of schools even encouraging students to drop out. So No Child Left Behind in its standardized testing is causing this widening achievement gap with the current accountability provisions, and it's also causing this increased dropouts. But it's also causing teachers to leave because they do not feel like they need to teach anymore because they're just teaching to the test. So there is a solution to the problem of the education system today, and that is the failing schools can be helped if we adopt the plan to repeal No Child Left Behind. By excluding high-stakes standardized testing, the federal government will be able to eliminate dropouts that are due to the testing, slow and reverse the accountability provisions that are causing the achievement gap, and reclaim the teachers that are leaving due to the testing. Gail Sunderman, a professor of senior research associate at Civil Rights Project at UCLA, stated that if high-stakes testing were discontinued and teachers regained some of their lost autonomy, their real teaching talent, their ability to individualize structure will quickly resurface, we predict. If high-stakes testing were discontinued, perhaps the bright, creative teachers who have left teaching because they saw children's hope destroyed by high-stakes testing could be lured back into teaching. In all, there is a solution to the No Child Left Behind problem, and that is to repeal it. No Child Left Behind is harming students. It increases dropouts, widens the achievement gap, and causes teachers to leave school. And we see this throughout the education system today. If we repeal No Child Left Behind, we can improve these 3 points. No Child Left Behind is harming the children of the United States. And if the federal government takes this step to protect our students, we will see them taking a giant step in the future of the United States education system.